It's a beautiful Saturday, and today I want to talk about, you know, this time of the year, late into February, getting in, well, we're into March. We're kind of going from the pre-spawn into the spawn a little bit, but you know, the weather changes every single day or every week. One morning we're in the 30s, in the afternoon we're in the 70s, and then kind of going back and forth. So today I want to talk to you about maybe how to transition those fish as they're moving kind of from the pre-spawn into the spawn. And there's several baits that I'm going to show you today, and it's a way that I would attack any body of water. You guys know about the Frittside. Have you heard about the Frittside crankbait yet? We have several here. Okay, catching more fish than any other crankbait out there right now, and there's several reasons. It has a weight transfer system in it, and it's designed to almost swim like the old wood crankbaits, but it's a plastic. It's got the most phenomenal action. The hooks that come on it are Fusion 19 hooks. It's a new Berkley hook, so you don't need to change the hooks. Take it out of the package, put it in the water, and it's going to work. So before I cast it and show you the action, I recommend like a 7-foot medium rod. Medium light is okay. 12-pound fluorocarbon, 10-pound fluorocarbon, 6-6, 6-8, 7-3-1. Revo reel. I mean, that's the easiest combination. If you want to throw it on a spinning rod and reel, that's fine also. Just make sure that you have a light tip on it, because the reason we're going to start with the Frittside is when we think pre-spawn, those fish, they like to look for something warm, right? They want to look for riprap, they want to look for bridges, they want to look for the front side of a laydown. If you're fishing a dock, which side of the dock are you going to fish? You want to fish the sunny side, right? That's cold out. Those fish don't really want to be in the shade. So this is going to be my first way to attack a new body of water. Now, I don't know how aggressive these fish are, but these hooks have been in. But I want you to watch the action, and the reason is this has a real tight wobble to it. Those fish, early pre-spawn fish, are real lethargic. They're looking for something real tight. You know, the later the summer gets, we go to the bigger action moving crankbait, something that moves a lot of water. This time of the year, those fish are just getting up there, and something subtle coming by them is what will trigger that strike. So I'll send this down the way there, but if you guys watch how tight this thing swims. Now I'm just barely turning the reel handle, as you can tell.
Okay, look.
That fish would have, that must have been the one Justin Lucas caught a minute ago. But when we throw this out there, you can see how tight the wobble is. And what you want to do is bring this thing down along the riprap. When you hit a rock, stop it every once in a while. You can see it kind of suspends there. It's got that real tight wobble, and it'll suspend. So if you bump a rock or you bump a piece of wood, that's what's going to happen. You see that fish come up and try to grab that? That's what's going to happen when you suspend that bait. Not many, none that I know of, suspend like this. You know, we talk about the jerk baits that suspend, the fish swim up to eat them. That's what this bait does. It's perfectly designed, and guys, I'm telling you, it is the best shallow crankbait. See how that fish will swim up there and look at it? It's just floating, and he wants to come up there and eat it. So we'll get into our 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and let's say things have slicked off. We've caught a few on the Frittside. We want to look for something different. We're going to tie on this Creature Hawg. This is just about a 3/8 ounce weight. I like to use a 4/0 Fusion hook on it. But what I like to do is if I'm cranking riprap, or I'm cranking laydowns or bridge pylons, what I like to do from there is actually move back towards the backs of those creeks and look for something that the fish might go to. Might be a stub, it might be a stump, lily pad, a patch of grass, something those, you know, bass are ambush predators. They love to get around anything they want to ambush. So what I'll do is take this Creature Hawg, and I'll go back to the backs of those, further back in the pocket, and I'll look for stuff that I can pitch this thing to. It's going to give me another way to catch more fish. I mean, that's what this is all about, is how many fish can we catch, you know? So what I'll do is I'll pitch this thing around, and of course you guys know the action of most, but let me try that one again. So this is our Berkley Powerbait Max Sync Creature Hawg. You can see the action. Oh, felt like one grabbed it there. All right, let her go, buddy. And you can see the action when this thing comes in around them rocks. I like to bounce it up and let it hit the bottom. And you can see with the attractant on this bait, guys, this is the max scent, 45 times longer. Whoa, that was a good one right there. But you can see those fish can smell that bait sitting on the bottom down there. I'll flip it down there so you guys can see it in the middle. But you can see it'll sink past them, and then as it sits on the bottom, those fish attract to that scent. So who wouldn't want to use a bait that doesn't have scent? We want to keep this thing in the water as long as we can. This time of the year, what happens is, let's say that fell next to a little piece of grass. See there? He picked it up when it was just sitting on the bottom. He tasted the bait. Now he wants to go back down there and taste it some more. It's pretty crazy how many bites this thing gets. But what I like to do with this is flip this a little bit later in the day. Move it towards the backs of the pockets, backs of the bays, into the creeks. Look for something to flip. Just always have a few rods on your deck, and that's what today's seminar is. We started with the Frittside crankbait. Now we're moving into the Creature Hawg. Some of my favorite colors: black and blue, green pumpkin, watermelon candy. But you can see that how cool this bait comes through as I'm just effortlessly popping this thing up, letting it sink back down. You can see the fish reacting to it. And then they smell it, and then they'll eventually end up eating it like that one there. Of course, the hooks are cut on these things, so we're not trying to catch those fish. But the rod and reel I recommend, I'm a left-handed flipper. I use left-handed reels to flip. I use a 7.3 heavy Bassmaster Premier, Veritas, some of my favorite rods. 50-pound braid. If I'm flipping fluorocarbon, I like 17 or 100% Berkley trilene fluorocarbon. If you're using a right-handed reel, try one of the new ones, maybe like an ALF, one that's got an 8-to-1 pickup, maybe a Revo Rocket that's got a 10-to-1 pickup. So when you do get that bite, you know, when that fish does bite this bait, and let's say he swims out of the way real quick, you've got the power to catch up to him with that 8-to-1 or that 10-to-1 reel. So, you know, rod and reels are just as important as the baits, but this would be my second approach to pre-spawn fishing, moving into the spawn, or just getting close to the spawn, just early spring. Docks are always a good place to start. One of my favorite ways is the Wacky General. I'll skip this thing up around the docks. I'll rig it wacky style on a Fusion size 1 hook. Yep. And the cool thing about it is the way this thing shimmies as it's going down into the water column. Those fish get real slow. You know, it's kind of like us. When the sun comes out, we just want to lay out there and let the sun beat on us. We really don't want to get up and go run a marathon in the sun, you know. We want to enjoy it, and that's what these fish are doing. So I like this on a 7-foot medium, Veritas, Bassmaster Premier, our new Revo MGX. I like 10-pound braid, 12 to 15-pound fluorocarbon. I get asked this a lot. What knot do you tie to braid to fluorocarbon? You guys hear about the uni knot, you hear about the blood knot, you hear about the San Diego knot. I'm telling you, my absolute favorite is the FG knot. You probably need to Google it to look at that, but it's called the FG knot. It takes a little bit to learn, but when you tie that knot, you're actually fusing the braid and the fluorocarbon together. So you're not pulling from a uni knot where you tie 2 knots and then pull them together. You're actually fusing that braid and fluorocarbon together. So it's going to make that line become one, and it's super, super strong. When you guys learn that knot, it's phenomenal. But what I'll do is skip this general. You can see it'll skip real easy, and this thing just floats around real slow down there. Those fish are getting up around there. They don't want nothing real active. I'll pull it up here. You guys can just see how this thing just floats along, and just like that fish did right there. This actually has a hook in it, but you can see when it just floats down there real slow, they just kind of swim up, look at it out of nowhere, then they'll grab it. It's an exposed hook, so most of the time you're going to see the bite, and all you have to do is reel. You don't really have to set the hook like you do flipping a big mat or flipping anything. You just kind of reel into these fish. The power of the braid, the rod, the reel, the whole thing will keep that fish on for a long time. So that's my third favorite way to catch them in the daytime, is a wacky power bait accent general go. That's how, when you get down, you're trying to catch that final bass, and you're like, golly, what's it going to take to get that 5th bass? What's it going to take to catch the 10th fish of the day? We're going to quit when we get to number 10, or man, we haven't caught anything, let's try something else. We've tried the crankbaits, you know, the flipping baits, the wacky. This bait, guys, is just we all know how deadly it is and how quick the fish like it. And the reason is, you know, keep it simple, tie about a foot leader on here, a size 1 hook, 3/16 1/4 ounce weight. I like 10-pound braid, 8 10-pound fluorocarbon. Once again, I'll tie the FG knot. I'll run about 10 to 12, 16 feet a leader in here. But this bait is so deadly that when you flip it out there, it just kind of hits the bottom. And then you can just work it real easily. Let it hit the bottom, and it kind of stays in place. There's a fish there, he's going to eat it. I don't know if this one has a hook in it or not, but I haven't caught one in so long that I should. Oh, look at that bluegill. Of all things, catch a bluegill. Yeah. 300 bass in there, and I catch the bluegill. That just shows you how deadly the drop shot is.
That's fish number 10.
Yeah, yeah. There we go.
That's when we call it a day, right there.
Nope, that would have been a 2-minute penalty. I threw him over the gunnel of the boat. It had to be a bass to be a penalty. So as you can see, this thing sits down there. The fish just can't resist it. You put it, oh, they're actually eating the weight. Did you see that? But this thing just lays in their wheelhouse, and they can't resist it. It's you know, it hits the bottom. I like to work it on a slack line. As you can see, I'm just popping it. I can barely feel that thing moving. I like to let it hit the bottom, and then you see the weight hits the bottom, and the bait's just sitting there. Oh, I felt one. Okay.
He's got it.
All right. There we go. I'm not getting skunked today. No skunks in this boat.
Better not Okeechobee.
Boy,
And lost
this
one
one ain't
too.
been caught yet. There we go. All right. So we can see how deadly the drop shot is. The bait's still down there, but that's my final way to catch fish when they really become lethargic. I love to throw the drop shot. Recommend you really looking into all the Berkley products we have, from rods, reels, line, and bait. Trying it all, because trust me, it's put a lot of, I've been with them for almost 15 years, and I can honestly say that I've never lost a bass because my line broke, that it wasn't my fault. The line is that strong. The rods, the reels have held up for years. I still hold a big bass record in a different organization from just having the right equipment. So I hope all y'all got something to learn from this. I'll be in the back here. If you need any questions answered, sign autographs, talk to me about fishing. I love to do it. I'll take all your questions. But thanks everyone for coming out and listening to me chatter up a little bit today.
Thank you.